This is the outline for today. Okay, so I will be showing you some tech resources in teaching the 4 skills. And then afterwards, I will move on to 2 AI resources that I think are quite helpful for teachers and teaching language. And then also I will be talking about what are some resources that we can use to create review games. But I want you all to keep in mind that it's impossible to talk about all of the resources out there within only 2 hours. So today I'm just choosing some that I think would be more easier for most of the teachers to use in the classroom, because as we know, when we're doing curriculum instruction or when putting together our course content, time is limited, and sometimes it is refraining us from how much we can do in the classroom. So usually when I'm teaching technology for my students, it's usually for 1 academic year. So it's really hard to condense everything or all of the resources available out there within 2 hours. So today, hopefully I have chosen some resources or some ways in which we can use these in the classroom that would be easier to start off with. Okay, so first of all, just a very quick talking about what is educational technology. As some of you already know, it is the effective use of technological tools in learning. So it's talking about the different processes and tools using to how we can address the students' educational needs and problems. So basically, it's using a lot of the technology, using lots of computers out there to address students' needs. Okay, and so as we already know, educational technology, we often just say EdTech for short. Okay, so it serves as an aid in targeting and accommodating different learning styles and levels. So before we look at some of the resources that I want to share today, can you all just type in the message board? Can you choose one EdTech or one technology that you have used in the past year or so that you think has been the most helpful to you when you are teaching? Okay, so can you just type it in the message board and I can look at what some of the resources you have used. Okay, so Kahoot, Smartboard, Wordwall. Okay, great. PowerPoint. Okay, Bluekit, Jeopardy Labs, Kahoot. Okay, Google Slides, that's true. I love that too. Canva. Okay. Okay, great. So some of you can see that most of you use Kahoot, Canva, PowerPoint slides, etc. So that is true. These are most of the one of the most popular resources that we use. And so today I'm going to be talking a little bit about what are some of the other resources you can also use. So I'm going to first start off with, okay, what are some of the technology or what are some of the resources we can use for teaching the 4 skills? So for some of these, it would require you to allow the students to maybe use the iPads in the classroom. Okay, as we know in Taiwan, usually the students have 1 iPad that each of them can use 1 iPad for that they can be using in the classroom. So the first resource, I will also post a link in the message board as well. So for each resource, I will talk a little bit about it, and then I will give some of you time to also look at this resource. Okay, so the first one I want you to look at is a resource that is, I think, very helpful, especially when you're teaching elementary school students. Okay, so let me share the website with you. Okay, so this is, okay, are you able to, okay, so this is from the website ABCYA. Okay, let me post a link. Okay, so for example, this is a resource that we can use to teach students about, okay, how to pronounce, okay, the alphabet. Also, if we want them to teach some typing skills, we can also do that. So this is just one example. So you can also teach them the uppercase and lowercase.
Letters.
Okay.
Uppercase letters.
Okay, we can also use this for them to try out the letter names as well as the letter sounds, and they can know that there is a difference between these two. So for example, if we are teaching the letter names, we can press each one of these and they will have the sound. Okay, are you able to hear the sounds on the website?
B, B.
Okay.
C,
Yes.
Okay.
E.
Okay, so this is for the letter names, and then we
Letter
can also
sounds.
transition to the letter sounds.
B, B, O.
Okay, and we can use this in the alphabetical order, or we can use it in the
Keyboard
keyboard layout. Okay, so this is just one resource that we can use. But if you go to their website, you can see that there are different games for the different grade levels from pre-K to sixth grade. So for this one, I think it's a very good website that you can allow your students to use in the classroom if each of them has access to an iPad, because you can have them go to the different, if for different grade levels, you can have them go to the different, okay, to the different levels, and then they can choose the different games that they want to practice or look at. Okay, so there is for letters. If you also want to be looking at numbers, etc., you can also do so. So in addition to, for example, the Talk to Me alphabet, for example, grade 1, there is these different things that they can look at. So for each student, based on their different interests and needs, they can choose one to practice or look at. So this is a good way for them to have more interest or motivation in learning, okay, the language. So one thing that I want for all of you to keep in mind when using this resource is that this is for native speakers of English. So for Taiwan, you need to go down a grade or two, okay, if you're teaching. So for example, if you're choosing third grade, okay, it might be too difficult for a lot of the third graders in Taiwan. So maybe you can go to grade 2 or grade 1. Okay, so this is maybe something that we need to keep in mind when we are using this resource. So maybe take about 2 to 3 minutes for all of you to go to this website and take a look at what are some of the resources available that you might be able to use in this for your classroom. And then I will show you a second resource. Okay, so the second resource that I want to share with you today is also for teaching language skills. And this is also quite popular. Okay, many of you probably know that. This is from Starfall. So one example I'm going to be showing you is, okay, for nouns in space. Okay, so this is the link to Starfall in the message board. Okay, so let me show the website. Okay, so this is an example of when we want students, if we're teaching nouns, okay, and we want them to be able to differentiate person, if that noun is a person, place, or thing. So we can also use, for example, this resource to teach the students. So for this example, it will show a different word each time, and the students will need to choose, okay, which one does it fall for, under. Okay, so we can know that this is for a place, and then it will show another word. Okay, so this is just one of the resources available on the Starfall website. Okay, so if you go to this website, you will see that there is for kindergarten, grades 1 to 3, as well as grades 4 and 5. Okay, so it has some free resources, and if you need to access all of them, unfortunately, you will need to join in. But I think that some of the free resources available already on this website is pretty useful already. Okay, so also take about maybe 2 to 3 minutes to look at what are some of the available resources on this website, and then I'm going to introduce the next resource. Okay, so the next resource that I want all of you to look at is Teacher Monster. Okay, so you can use this for students to practice reading skills, as well as some other skills. So let me just show you the website for this. Okay, so you can sign up for a free account. So if you have like an edu or edu.tw account, an email, you can sign up for a free account, and you can sign up for a classroom for your students. So like here's an example. I signed up to set up a classroom account, and I have just set up as a student 1. Okay, it's an example. So if I go in, this is for Teacher Monster Reading for Fun. Okay, so it allows students to have free resources that they can practice their reading skills. In it, there are free books that students can read, as well as some games. So it's combining gamification and connecting it with reading skills. Okay, so let me just show you a little bit of what it looks like. Okay, so they can finish different like things, okay, on this website. Okay, so different challenges, and they can choose a reward. So for each reward, they will be able to access a book, and they can be added to their library. So for example, if a student is interested in this book, they can just choose this one, and then can choose to read it, okay, later in the library.
Harmony the Mermaid's mother is ill, and the only cure lies in the spooky pirate's crater. She up with Gingerbeard's ghost and find the finding.
Okay, so they will have access to different books, okay, and they will have different challenges. So like for this one, they will be making a rainbow cake. So this is also for students to practice their reading skills. So they have to read this, okay, and when they're finished, they will have to do the different, okay, actions, okay? So put chopped strawberries in the bowl, so they have to read this and identify what are chopped strawberries, okay, etc. So this is a very good free resource that teachers can use, especially if students have access to iPads, okay, you can allow them to do some free reading, okay. So for the link, okay, please, you can go right now to this link, okay, and you can sign up for a free account. Okay, so if you have a school account that your elementary school has given you, you can use that to sign up for a free account, and you can set up a classroom and add your students, or you can add the students by yourselves and give your students the password. Okay, so for example, for this one, I have set up a classroom. I can add player. Okay, so I can add a student too. Okay, and so for this student, okay, they will have access to, okay, the password card, okay, and so they will be able to use that link and use that password, and they can log into this Teacher Monster, and they will be able to read it for free. Okay, so right now, can you take also a few minutes to take a look at this website? So there is the Teacher Monster to read, there is the reading for fun, and also if you want to incorporate math, you can also have the number skills. And for the adventurous eating, this is for students to learn about the different vegetables and fruits. Okay, so also take a few minutes to look at this resource, and then I'm going to introduce another resource that I think is very useful to use in the classroom. Okay, the next resource that I want to share with you, okay, let me, is a resource that I think I like a lot. A lot of my students use when they're teaching English. Okay, when they're doing the internships, is Storyline Online. Okay, so let me show you, give you the link. Okay, so why do I think this is a very good resource is because you can have access to many books, okay, children's books. And instead of you reading it, okay, there will be YouTube videos of a person, usually a very famous person reading the book, okay, and then they will be able to read and listen along. Okay, so for example, okay, there is the Giving Tree, there's also the Halloween Hustle. So let me show an example of why this is very useful, okay, for students to practice their listening skills or if you want their reading skills. So you can go click on each of these, okay, and they will have access to a YouTube video, okay, of a famous actor, actress, or someone reading the book out loud.
Well. Welcome to Storyline Online, brought to you by the SAG-AFTRA Foundation. I'm Joel McHale. Thank you. In the dark, a funky beat, something white with bony feet. Skeleton dancing up the street. He's doing the Halloween hustle. Bony thumbs and fingers snap.
Okay, so for example, today, if I want to be teaching about Halloween, which is coming up in October, I can introduce, for example, Halloween Hustle. I can have students read along or listen to this, and since there are illustrations, it would be very captivating for the students. One other very good thing about this, the resources from this website is for most of these, there is a teacher's guide. Okay, so if you click this, okay, what I think is the most helpful to this for teachers is there's a teacher's guide, there is the suggested grade level, okay? And down below, it gives you like the themes in the story that you can discuss beforehand with your students, okay? It also has what are some things you can do before students view or look at this video, okay? Some procedures or some activities you can do with your students. So there is the before viewing, there is the during viewing, and there is the after viewing. Okay, so it saves a lot of teachers' time, okay, when thinking about what are some of the potential activities that we can do with students in the classroom. Okay, so we can use this, the teacher's guide, to help us prepare. Okay, so you can choose and edit based on the needs of your students and their level as well. Okay, there is also the reading response, and you can also do the writing. Okay, so there's a lot of activities, recommended activities that you can incorporate in the classroom just based on one book. There, for many of these teachers' guides, there is also some worksheets available that you can edit or use based on your own class, the needs of your class. So I think this is a very good resource. And so when I'm teaching my students, I tell them to please use this resource when they're teaching their own students English. Okay, so there's a lot of stories that you can choose from. Okay, many of these are award-winning stories as well. So you don't need to be afraid, or you don't need to choose by yourself. You can see which one that you think your students might be more interested in. Or if your students have access to the iPads, they can also be free to choose a story that they are interested in reading. Okay, so I'm going to give you about also 2 to 3 minutes, and I want you to take a look at this resource as well. Okay, so the next resource, okay, it's more app-based, okay? So this is for DuckDuckMoose, okay? So if you go to this website, you will see that it has, it tells you that, okay, there's links for the different apps. Okay, so that is true. Okay, so these are some of the apps that you can use or you can download and install on your student's iPad, okay? So for example, for these three, okay, the Chatterbix Kids, okay, Princess Fairy Tale and Superhero Comic Maker, these are allowing your students to use this iPad for them to practice their speaking skills. So for this one, the Chatterpix Kids, okay, for example, they can use different pictures and they can record the audios of them speaking and the pictures will move. Okay, for the Princess Fairy Tale Maker as well as the Hero Comic Maker, they're coming up with a Princess Fairy Tale or a comic book and the students will be able to record they describing the fairy tale or them describing what is happening, the plot of the comic. Okay, so these three apps on the upper, okay, the first row, this is for the iPad apps for them to practice speaking skills. For down below, the Duck Duck Moose reading, okay, Pikachu, okay, and Fish Schools, these are for students to practice reading or to improve the vocabulary skills. So for this one, the Duck Duck Moose reading. This is to, of course, to practice your reading skills. In the middle, the Pikachu, this is allowing students to use this app to learn about the names of animals, emotions, and actions. So improving their words, okay, vocabulary words. For the Fish School, okay, it's also learning about, they'll be able to use this iPad app to learn about the letters, numbers, shapes, and colors. Okay, and the down below this one is Word Wagon. So this will be allowing students to learn about letters, phonics, spelling, and sight words. So these apps, if you install on the iPads, you can also allow students to use it in class. Okay, so you can pass out an iPad to each student and have them access these different apps for them to practice their speaking, their reading skills, or for them to improve their vocabulary skills. Okay, so I recommend this site and if applicable, you can install these apps, okay, and allow students to use them in your classroom. Okay, the next resource, okay, that I want you to take a look at, this is a very popular resource, and a lot of the elementary school teachers in Taiwan are also starting to use this. This is Padlet. Okay, so let me show you the website for this. Okay, let me first get the link. Okay, so think of this as Padlet as a very big board, bulletin board, where students can post, okay, things, or the teachers can post. So the teachers and students can post messages, videos, feedback. So it can be text, it can be audio, it can be video. Okay, and you can do a lot of things with this. Okay, so for example, okay, you can use this to incorporate the use of the four skills: writing, speaking, reading, and listening. Okay, so some activities, you can have them post their group work, or here, for example, this would be individual work. So I would have students use the draw attachment. Each of them can draw a picture of themselves and then share the self-portrait. And you can have students leave messages. It can be text or it can be audio, sharing who they think this drawing is, okay, one of their classmates. So some activities you can have them do, I've seen also teachers in Taiwan. They use this to give worksheets to each group and then pass out an iPad. So after they finish the paper version of the worksheet, they will have the students take pictures of their finished worksheet and then post it onto Padlet. And then afterwards, the teacher can go through all of the worksheet in class together as a whole class. And so if you use this, you are able to see each of the students' work, okay, each of the students' work. Okay. Okay, so for example, this is one, and then we can hold all of the class can share and discuss about this. Okay, so this is a good way to share the different work, okay, etc. So one activity that I've seen teachers do is have the students use iPads to take pictures of their worksheet. Okay, you can also use Padlet to do brainstorming and have them post each of their ideas for a topic. So for example, you can have students say the topic is about like environmental protection, and they can have each student, you can have each student brainstorm and have them write one thing, okay, post it onto Padlet, one thing they think they can do to protect the environment. You can also use this to do exit tickets. So let students reflect on the day's lessons, share what they have learned, or express any questions that they may have. Or you can have them do a photo scavenger hunt. So you can send your students on a scavenger hunt in a classroom or on a field trip, and you can list the different items that you want them to look for, and then can use the iPad to take pictures and upload the photos of their finds. You can also have them do podcasts, have them share one interesting piece of news about them, okay, that week or during summer vacation. Okay, you can have them do prompted creative reading, etc. So give your students a prompt and encourage them to write a creative writing response. Okay, so if you go sign up for Padlet, you can go to the gallery, and these are some of the examples that you can do. Okay, so think of it as a very big bulletin, digital bulletin board. So you can say, I want to come up with different activities for my students. So you can have a debate board or a collaborative storytelling board or a foreign language practice board, etc. Or if you want them to do assignments, okay, you can have them do like a book report, have them write, okay, and post to the bulletin board, digital bulletin board, okay, what are some of their thoughts about the book that they have read, or have them introduce a character, etc. So there are different activities, assignments, or collections, etc. that you can use, okay, or design. So Padlet is quite popular right now with a lot of elementary school teachers in Taiwan. Okay, another very new thing that, or very exciting thing that Padlet also allows us to use is the sandbox. So as we know that the Google, the Jamboard is ending in October. So sandbox, think of it as a more updated version of the Google Jamboard. So you can also use this as whiteboards. Okay, you can have students post post-its, notes, okay, responses, or write on the whiteboard. So sandbox, think of it as a new version or updated version of the Google Jamboard. So I would recommend a lot of you to use this as well. Okay, so what you would just do is also sign up for a free account. Okay, so I'm also going to give you a few minutes to look at Padlet. Okay, and then I'm going to show the next resource. So to add to the Padlet, for if you sign for a free account, okay, so the free version allows for students, your students, to upload 2-minute videos recordings and 5-minute audio recordings. If you do purchase the Classroom account, which is not free, you have to purchase it, the Classroom account will allow students to upload 30 minutes of video recordings and 60-minute audio recordings. But for me, so far, if I teach elementary school students, I think so far the 2-minute video recordings and 5-minute audio recordings is actually quite adequate enough, okay, long enough for them to use. So if you want to sign up, so far, many of the teachers that I have spoken to, they have told me that the free version is already enough. So 2-minute video recordings and 5-minute audio recordings. So they can record their feedback about a book or something that they have read or happened to them, etc. Okay, so that is something to keep in mind. Okay, so next, this will take a little bit more time because I do want to show you how to use these two AI resources. So as we know, AI is the craze right now. Everyone is talking about it and using it. So when using AI, you can also think about how can this help the teachers. So the previous resources we have talked about is talking about how you can allow it to help the students with their learning, okay, the language learning. So here I'm going to talk about two AI resources that can help the teachers in their lesson preparation or for their preparation or thinking about or coming up with the different activities. Okay, so the first resource that I want all of you to be able to use that I think is very, very helpful is DIFIT. Okay, so it is an AI-powered tool that allows us to convert. If we have existing curriculum or class content, we can use that to convert it and generate differentiated resources. So a lot of times we know that within one class, one classroom, there are students with varying levels of language proficiency. So you can use this to generate differentiated resources for your students, and you can convert not just text-based materials, you can also turn or convert the content into ready-to-do activities for your students. Okay, so this is the website. Okay, and I'm going to show you a little bit about what we can do, okay, with this. Okay, so if you go to the DFID website, okay, you will see that there are three. One is literally anything. Okay, one is you can upload or give an URL to an article or a video. Okay, I'll show you that in a minute. Or you can upload any text or excerpt and it will convert it into something that or activities or something that you can do in the classroom. Okay, so let me first show you literally anything so we can type in a topic. So for example, today, if you want to be teaching your students about the life cycle of a plant, you can type in, for example, what is the life cycle of a plant. You can choose the approximate reading level of your students. Okay, again, this is for native speakers of English. So always keep this in mind when you are choosing the level for your students. So today, maybe I want to change it to second grade. Okay, and then using literally anything, okay, I'm just asking about what is the life cycle of a plant. I can then generate resources. Okay, so here it will first show some images, okay, that is related to the life cycle of a plant. Of course, you can change, okay, so for example, you think that this might be more appropriate, okay, when you want to present or show it to your students. Okay, so these are just using AI to search for what are some of those pictures that is appropriate when you're teaching the life cycle of plants. So maybe I want to use this one. Okay, so down below, you can see that there is a reading passage. Using AI, it comes up with a reading passage. Okay, and for this one, you can adjust the length. You can make it short, or if you want the reading passage to be longer, you can make it to medium or long, and then it will generate. Okay, so this is, they say this is more appropriate for second grade. Okay, and here down below, if you want, you can see that you can show the resources of which this comes from. And you can see that AI has extracted information from these different resources to come up with this reading passage. Okay, of course, you as a teacher, you can click edit, okay, change some of those details if you think it's too difficult still for your students. Okay, and then you can click copy if you want to just copy and paste it onto a Word document or Google Slides or your PowerPoint slides. Okay, down below, you can see that DFID, it gives you a summary, okay, of the text, okay, as well as key vocabulary words. Okay, so one very good thing about this is AI using DFID, it gives you example sentences that uses this vocabulary word, okay, and it also comes up with multiple choice questions and short answer questions as well. Okay, and you can also always add questions. And you can see one thing I like about DFID is that you can choose the different types of questions you wanted to come up with. Instead of just comprehension, you can have them come up with extended thinking or strategic thinking questions. And you can say, I want AI or DFID to come up with how many questions that is related to simple reasoning or strategic thinking, etc., or about literacy skills, etc. Okay, so for each of these, another good thing about DFID is you can have them show you the answers. Okay, so you can always copy and paste this onto your PowerPoint slides or Word document. Okay, another good thing about this is you can also turn this content from DFID into worksheets. Okay, so if you click, okay, student activities, you can change it into a Jeopardy review slide deck. Okay, so if you choose this, it can be incorporated or transitioned to Google Slides. So that means you can save this document as a Google slide or PowerPoint, and it is already made for you. You can play it in the classroom. Okay, or if you want, you can say, I want it to be vocabulary choice boards or reading with short answer questions. So that means it comes up with worksheets that you can just print, okay, or you can open it, okay, in Google Slides or a document and edit it according to your students' needs. So that is what I think is very good about DFID. Okay, next, how to differentiate. You can see down here, up on the upper left-hand corner, this is for second grade. If you wanted to differentiate for the different levels, of language proficiencies, and for your students, you can say that maybe some of the students are more advanced. You can just say for the same thing, I will change it to third grade and regenerate it. So for the same topic, it will regenerate and give you an adapted reading passage as well as comprehension questions and activities that they think will be more suitable for third grade. So if you have students of varying levels, in your classroom, you can use this to come up with, for the same topic, different levels, different levels. Another thing is for the second part, an article or video. So if you have an internet article that you want to use to teach your students, you can paste it here. Or if you have a YouTube video, and you want it to come up with different activities or content to teach, you can also use it. So for example, if I post, let me see. Let me post a YouTube link. Okay, and if I keep original, that means I had originally set it at second grade. So if I keep the original, and then I can generate resources. Okay, so the YouTube link that I posted was about the plant life cycle. Okay, so you can see here that the reading passage here, it shows the text that was in the video. So it's already here, all of the content. Okay, of course, you can always edit it if you want. It also gives a summary of what the video was talking about. Okay, and also based on the video, there are the vocabulary words, also multiple choice questions, based on the video. So you can use this to ask or to assess your students, having them watch the video and then also answering multiple choice questions, short answer questions, or open-ended prompts. Again, also you can use it to generate student activities, so worksheets, okay, Google Slides, etc. Okay, the next example is for any text or excerpt. Okay, so for example, we have textbooks that we need to teach, okay, to teach from, okay, when we're teaching English. So let me show you an example. It can also generate, okay, activities or content based on the textbook information. You can just upload a PDF, or you have the text of the text from your textbook. You can also paste it here. So let me give you an example. I'm going to upload a PDF, okay, from the E-Star book. Okay, and then keep original. That means I can also change it to maybe third grade, etc. And then I can generate the resource based on the PDF from one of the textbooks. Okay, so this was the PDF. Okay, so it's from the E-Star textbook, and it was talking about, okay, visiting Kaohsiung. Okay, so here, okay, it uses AI to look at or to identify the reading passage from this scanned version of the textbook. So this is the reading passage from the textbook and the summary. And you can see here that it also lists out the vocabulary words. Okay, so you can use this, or you can add vocabulary words or edit, etc. And also comes up with multiple choice questions, short answer questions, and open-ended prompts. And also you can also use this to generate student activities, worksheets, etc. You can print them out, or you can just generate it into Google Slides or Google Forms, etc. Okay, so it's not just generating from text that you have to copy and paste. You can also generate from your own textbook. So I think this is a very good resource because it allows us to, it saves us a lot of time. So we can just have it generate and we can just edit from these questions or activities that AI has come up with. Okay, so one thing about this is if when you sign up for a free account, each of us will have 60 days. Okay, the free trial will give us 60 days to have access to these different, okay, premium features. Some of the premium features include some of these different worksheets. Okay, so right now, if you are first year teachers, so that means maybe you are teaching first time in a new school this year. Okay, so right now DFID gives you free access to all of the premium features for 1 year for free. Okay, if you're first year teachers. So I will also post this link here. If you're able to sign up as a first year teacher, DFID right now gives you premium access, okay, for all of these for free until June 30th of next year. Okay, so I want for all of you to take a few minutes to also look at this. Okay, yes, it's possible to simplify the language. Okay, so one of the easiest ways to simplify the language is to just change the grade level. This is one way. Okay, and then later I will show you another resource that you can also post a text to, and the AI will also help you to simplify the language. Okay, so I'll show another resource later that will allow you to do that as well. Okay, so how about we take a 10-minute break, and during that time you can take a look at DFID. Okay, and if you have any questions, feel free to post it here. Okay, so the first AI resource that I talked about was Diffit, and I think it's really helpful to use this AI resource as myself. I use it also when I'm preparing for my classes, because although I know that ChatGPT is very popular, the two AI resources I'm talking about today, it is geared towards teachers. Okay, so I think oftentimes, sometimes when I use ChatGPT, a lot of the content might not be that suitable when implementing it into my classroom. So the first one is Diffit. Okay, the second one that I think is also very useful is Magic School. Okay, Magic School AI. So first I will talk about what are some of the tools or resources that I would recommend you to use. And then later also I will give you some time to look at this. So there are more than 60 AI tools. I think there are about 71 or so right now. So teachers can use this Magic School AI resource to generate lesson plans, or again, also to differentiate instruction. And later I will talk about Run resource, because I know that one of you talked about, asked if it's able to simplify content or text. Okay, so there is a resource in Magic School AI that can do that. So you can use this to also design assessments tailored to your students' needs. Okay, so as I said, there are a lot of resources. Okay, this is just a screenshot of some of the resources. Okay, so I'll talk about what are some activity ideas that you can use in the classroom, and then I will recommend what are some of the tools that you can use. Okay, so the first activity idea is, okay, for song lyrics. Okay, a lot of students love to sing songs. So if you are able to incorporate songs, lyrics, okay, into language learning, I think it might be very interesting. So this is just one example. I know that not a lot of students in Taiwan know that much about Taylor Swift, but this is just one example. So for example, you can have students do Taylor Swift song lyric analysis. Okay, so what it is, you can use this text, okay, to have students dissect the songwriting techniques, and then explore some of the themes, metaphors, or narrative structures in her lyrics. Of course, you can use other song lyrics that most of your students are interested in. So this is a very good resource. So the text analysis assignment AI that you can use. Okay, another activity idea is to come up with a creative writing task. So you can use the Make It Relevant tool, okay, to come up with a BTS creative writing task. I know that a lot of my students right now are interested in the Korean BTS boy band. So you can use this tool, and you can combine it with the students' love of maybe another boy band or another group. And you can generate some writing prompts that the students can apply their background knowledge and passion to. So you can use this tool to come up with creative writing tests. Okay. Another activity idea is you can do character analysis. So anime, okay, so you can use the worksheet generator to do that. So for example, you can use this tool, okay, to create a character analysis worksheet. So students can explore the traits, motivations, developments of one of the characters or several characters from some of the popular anime series that the students are looking at today. So combining the students' interests with also language learning. Another activity idea is, for example, have the students do a Pokemon conversation. So for Magic School AI, you can create custom chatbots. Okay, so you can have students have conversations with their favorite Pokemon characters. Like they can use English to type in English and interact with Pikachu, okay, etc. They can ask questions in English about the different characters' personalities and roles. So combining again the students' interest, but at the same time motivating them to use the language. Okay, so these are some activity ideas, and here are some of the recommended tools that you can use for Magic AI. Okay, so one very helpful is the lesson plan generator. Okay, so this tool allows teachers, okay, to generate lesson plans. So it gives you a detailed and well-structured lesson plan. You just need to input different information, okay, that you need, and then it will generate a lesson plan for you along with the different recommended activities. You can also personalize the plan to cater to the different needs of your students. Okay, so for the same textbook, okay, but for different classes, you can also generate different lesson plans. Okay, another tool that I recommend is Text Leveler. Okay, so this is what I talked about when I'm saying that you can simplify the language. So you can have, using this tool, you can rewrite any text at a different grade level. So you can also make it simpler for students that are reading at a lower level or has lower proficiency skills. Okay, you can also use this to enhance the inclusivity of your students. So for this tool, you can just add the original text. So you can upload a PDF file of the text, or you can copy and paste the text. You can choose the different grade levels, and the Magic School AI will rewrite the text that will fit your request. Okay, so you can have an example text posted in there, and then you can choose what level you wanted to rewrite it to. So the text leveler, I think, is a very recommended tool that I would have teachers use if you want to simplify the language for your different students' needs. So for the same article, for the same topic, okay, you can have them read simpler text or more advanced text. Okay, another tool that I would use is image generator. Okay, so this would be using the AI from Adobe Express. Okay, so you can type in a prompt and it will come up with different images, and you can use that. So some teachers would be interested in thinking about, when I'm teaching language, okay, why would I need an image generator? Okay, why would I need this resource? So for example, you can have students use image generators and have them come up with their own illustrations to the creative story that they have written. Or you can use an image generator and assign it as an illustrated writing prompt. So have students do a creative writing based on an image that you have or they have created as a whole class. You can also use the image generator to create and add images to your PowerPoint slides, or if you're teaching different vocabulary words and you can't find online the most suitable image to add to present that vocabulary word you're teaching, you can use image generator to do that as well. Or you can integrate students' interest into a lesson. So for example, maybe a movie star that they're interested in, or a character, anime character, you can use an image generator and incorporate that anime character, okay, into that image. And so it would also appeal to the students and motivate their learning. Okay, so this is also a tool that I would recommend teachers use as well. Okay, another recommended tool is YouTube video questions. So similar to Diffit, okay, you can also use Magic School AI. So you can also just upload a link, okay, and it will help you generate a series of multiple choice questions, true or false, or free response questions. Okay, so for YouTube video questions, myself, I think that Diffit comes up with more advanced questions. So you can compare these two when you are using this resource. Okay, which one do you think is more helpful to you? Okay, because both Diffit and Magic School AI has this option of generating questions for you using a YouTube link. Okay, another recommended tool is text-dependent questions. Okay, so a reading text, and it will generate different comprehension questions for you. Okay, another tool is song generator. So you can have students come up with a custom song about any topic to a tune of a song that they want. Okay, so it's more for creative writing, etc. Okay, another one is text rewriter. So again, you can also use this. So sometimes when we are coming up with worksheets, some of my students, what they struggle with is they understand how to write the instructions for their worksheet, but many of the students that they're teaching often find that the instructions are too difficult for them to understand. So I would tell my students to use this resource from Magic School AI to text rewriter. So they can input the instructions they have put or written for their worksheet, and they can have it rewrite. So it would be much easier for the students to understand. So for example, if it's instructions A, they can say, I want to rewrite it so that it is more in the tone for a second grader, so that the instructions, the AI, it would come up with the same instructions, but rewrite it so that it is more understandable for a second grader. Or you can also say, I want you to rewrite it for a fifth grader or a sixth grader, etc. So using this, I think, is a very helpful tool because you can also always use this to rewrite it so it's a fit with your students' needs. So these are some of the recommended tools. It's not all of them. There are many, many of them. So these are just some that I will recommend you to use as a teacher in your classroom. So right now I'm going to post the link, okay, also on the message board. And I would like for you to take a few minutes to look at, okay, Magic School AI. So again, sign up for a free account and look at what are some of the resources available to you, okay, when you're using this in the future to come up with course content. So these are some of the examples. Okay, so you can have the rubric generator as well. Okay, can also have the text summarizer, report card comments. So if you're going to be writing some comments for the parents, talking or explaining some of the students' strengths, okay, etc., you can also use this to help you. Okay, so please take a few minutes to look at what are some of the resources. Okay, and then I will move on to talking about, okay, how to design review games. you can see down below there is a teacher joke generator. You can try to see if that works. So far, it hasn't worked that successfully for me. Okay, but you can always try that with your students. Okay, so next I'm going to be talking about or going to be showing you some resources about how you can create review games. So I'm showing this today because during some of the classroom observations, many of the ETAs that I have talked to, they told me that one of the hardest things that they can come up with is how to come up with review games. It seems like all the time they're using Kahoot, 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 and they sometimes think that the students might be bored. So today I'm going to show you some resources in which you can come up with different review games. Okay, it can be after each lesson, or it can be for you to do after each, okay, like unit, or if you're going to be doing a review for their exams, okay, monthly exams, etc. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the simplest ones, okay, which is from many, many years ago, okay, but still many teachers are still using it nowadays. Okay, so the first one is from Discovery Education. It is Puzzle Maker. Okay, so I will post a link here as well. Okay, so I won't go into more detail about this because it's quite clear cut. Okay, basically it is you are able to come up with puzzles. You can create it and you can download it as a PDF. Okay, and you can give your students worksheets for this. So using this, you can create your own puzzles. Okay, so it can be word search puzzles, it can be crisscross puzzles or maze puzzles. So this is for fun. Like for example, if you're gonna do, you want to come up or create a puzzle for Halloween, for Thanksgiving, Christmas, this would be a fun worksheet that you can have the students do. For word search puzzles, you can come up with this as like reviews or the crossword puzzles. So it can be a review for the different vocabulary words you have taught. Okay, so the Puzzle Maker, it has existed, this website has existed for many, many years, but a lot of teachers are still using this because they find it helpful to come up with different puzzles as worksheets for their students. Okay, another resource that I want you to know, okay, many of you probably also know this, is Flippity. So this is a old platform, this has existed many years already also. So this is for teachers to create review games. So it can be quiz shows, it can be like a board game, etc. Okay, you can see that there are many different games available. So basically it is transforming the data you input, okay, onto a Google spreadsheet, and it would generate a web tool that you can use. Okay, so again, I will also be posting the link here. You can take a look at this afterwards. Okay, it's quite clear cut as well. Okay, so the Puzzle Maker and Flippity, it's from many, many years ago already, but a lot of teachers still use that because it's quite simple to use. So you just input the data and it will generate different review games for the teacher. Okay, the next resource I want you to take a look at is from Canva. Okay, I'm not sure how many of you know this, but sometimes we want to create PowerPoint games. But one of the hardest parts about doing PowerPoint games is we have to design a lot of the games and it takes a lot of time. So a lot of teachers or a lot of ETs tells me or ask me, would it be much simpler if we had a template and we just input the data in, okay, and we would be able to generate different games. Okay, so this is another way in which you can come up with different review games. So this is different game templates. So let me show you how you'll be able to access this. Okay. Okay, so if you go to Canva, Okay, I won't post a link because I know all of you know about Canva. So if you go to Canva and you go to search and you type game presentation, okay, and this, okay, so game presentation, if you click this, okay, so there will be all of these different templates that you can use, okay, and you just put in the data, you just type in the different data, and it will, these are different templates for different review games, so you can always mix it up. So for maybe for one lesson, you can use Never Have I Ever, or you can use Trivia Night as a template, okay? And the next time you can use a football quiz or game night or memory game. So this is a way for you to come up with different review games. Okay, so again, motivating your students to make them more interested. Okay, and you are able to design different review games. So just go to Canva and just type in game presentation, and you will be able to access here. There are more than 900 different game presentation templates. Okay, so I'm going to give you about 1 to 2 minutes for you to take a look at what are some of the templates available to you to use from Canva. And then I will be talking about the next resource. Okay, so the next resource that I want to show you, some of you probably already have been using this in your classrooms already. Okay, this would be Quizlet. Okay, so I'm just posting the link here in case some of you have not used it before. So Quizlet, it is like doing digital flashcards, and you can use this to review vocabulary words. You can also use this to review different terms, okay, with your students. Okay, and then you can use this to play a review game. So this would require the students to use their iPads to log in. So you can have them do this as play individually, or you can have them play in groups. So you can randomly put them into groups and they will be able to answer the questions. So what it is that it will show the different questions, maybe for, if it's 3 students per group, it will show the questions and the answers on those 3 different iPads. Okay, but only one of the students will have the correct, can be able to choose the correct answer. So they will be working together to see if they're able to answer the questions correctly. And for each of the questions you answer, you will be able to move, okay? So you can see here on the PowerPoint slide. So you can choose, for example, there's a lion group, giraffe group, kangaroo group. So what makes this very exciting for the students is that in their group, okay, if one student answers the questions incorrectly, okay, they will move back to 0 again. So for a kangaroo group, if the next student, and if they're leading right now, but if one of the next student answers the question incorrectly, they will move back to 0 again, and they have to try all over again. So this is what makes it very interesting for the students. Okay, so let me show an example of what it would look like. We wouldn't be able to play the game because I would then require all of you to add it in. So I'm just going to show you what it would look like. So it would be like digital flashcards. So for example, today, if I'm teaching some slang words, okay, so this would be showing this, and then if you click it again, it would be showing you the definition of this, okay, and then okay, you can have this first do a review with the whole class, okay. And then today, if you want to do a review game, you can do the Quizlet live. So what it would be like is you would present this, okay, to your students, and you can have them do in random teams. So what makes this very good as a good resource is you're randomly grouping the students. They can't be choosing who they want to work with. So it's all random. Or if you want them to play at their own pace, you can do individuals. So depending on you as a teacher. So today, if I want them to do random teams, okay, I can choose if I want them to see the definition and then they have to choose the term, or if I want them to see the term and then choose the correct definition. So it depends on which one you want them to answer. Okay, and then for your students, they will see this on the projector, okay, on the screen. So they can scan this QR code, okay, or they can go to Quizlet.live and then just type this in. And then when the students add in, okay, and then you can start the game, okay, start the game. Okay, and then they will be able to play on like the grouping, okay, and you can see which one answers correctly the fastest. Okay, so this is a very good resource for us as teachers to design review games because it is very interesting for the students and there's a lot of competition. And I think what makes this a very good resource is that students are randomly grouped. Okay, so there is this sense of, okay, not knowing who you're going to be working with. So a lot of students are very excited or very nervous when they're doing this. So you can mix it up. For some of the review games, you can do it in groups. Okay, for some of the review games, you can do it individually. Okay, so they can work quietly on their own. You can also use this like at the end of each lesson after you have finished teaching the vocabulary words. Okay, so this is a very good resource to use. Okay, so next I'll move on to the next resource. Okay, so the next resource I want you to look at, I saw that in the message, on the message board, that some of you are using WordWall already. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly go through this as well. Okay, so WordWall, it has been quite popular in Taiwan among a lot of the teachers. okay, in recent years, in the recent 1 to 2 years. So you would know that this is a very good resource and it is very easy to set up. Okay, so let me show you what it looks like. Okay, let me first leave the link. Okay, so this is an example. So today, for example, if we're teaching Unit 4 and we are teaching students the difference between he and she. Okay, so I want to assess my students and use this as a review game to see how well my students understand he or she. Okay, and so I can use this as a way to have the students categorize it. Okay, so this is an example of a game. So here are the different pictures and then I can have the students categorize. So here is the he, here is the she. Okay, so for you can see the different arrows that this is pointing to this person. And so the students will need to identify, look at this picture and be able to categorize it if they understand if it's a he or she. Okay. Okay, and then after they're finished, they can submit their answers. Okay, and they will be able to know if they answered how many correctly or incorrectly. And of course, they can always do this again. Okay, and how you can share this is you can just click here. You can set it as assignment. Okay, so it will give a link for the students which they can do it in class, or if you can, you can assign it as a homework. Or if you want to do it as a review game in class, you can share this resource. Okay, so it can be as a QR code. So you pass out the different iPads and have the students do this review game in class. Or if you want, you can do it as a game show quiz or open the box and play together as a whole class. Okay, so what it is you can go to this website and you can sign up for a free account. So for a free account, you will be able to create 5 resources. So the resources you can create are, for example, a quiz, match up, speaking cards, anagram, spin the wheel, complete the sentence, etc. So these are the ones that you can come up with for free. The pro templates, that means you will need to purchase account. But so far, many of the elementary school teachers I've talked to, they say, again, the free resource is already enough. And once you used up the 5 resources, you can just use another email and sign up, and you will again have 5 other resources. So this is a very good resource for teachers to create review games. Okay, so I'm going to give you a few minutes for you to take a look at word wall. Okay. Okay, the next resource I want you to take a look at regarding how to create review games is Blooket. Okay, so for Blooket, you can have different game modes. Okay, so for example, Gold Quest, Monster Brawl, okay, Fishing Frenzy, etc. Okay, so this is also a good resource for teachers to create review games that students can play on or use on their iPads. Okay, so let me show you what it would be like. Oh, so there's a question. Is there an advice for convincing an LET? Okay, so hi Jennifer, can we talk about this after I show the two other remaining resources? Okay, I'll talk about that with you in a few minutes. So let me show you the next resource. Okay, so this is you create different question sets and you just press host. So you can sign up for a free account. Okay, you input the different question. It's multiple choice. Okay, and then you click host and you can choose the different games that you want students to play. So a lot of the ETAs that I looked at, okay, use the cafe. Okay, so for today, I will have you play this game actually. Okay, so let me see. So all of you have been in Taiwan at least a year or so. So I have come up with 7 easy questions that tests each of your understanding or your knowledge of Taiwan. It's very easy questions. So later I'm going to be hosting this and I would like each of you to enter. Okay, so add to the game and I'm going to use the cafe. Okay, the cafe. This is a lot of the ETAs you choose this because this is quite easy for the students to play. Okay, and I want you to try this game out if you haven't done so before. Okay, so right now I'm going to host this game and I would like each of you to join in using your cell phones or laptops or iPads. So for this one, instead of the cache, okay, I'm just going to be setting the time. So let's set the time for, let's see, okay, just 4 minutes. Okay, I don't want to take it too long. Okay, and then I will host now. Okay, so please, all of you, please go to this link and enter the game code. Okay, so let's begin because I have chosen that latecomers can add in. So those of you that aren't added in, you can join at any time. So let's begin. So you just have to answer questions regarding about Taiwan. Okay. So you will see the questions on your cell phones or on your iPads, laptops. And here I will just be showing who has like the leaderboard. Okay, I'll end early because Miranda is earning way too much money. Okay, so I can always end, we can always end early. So oh, Caroline, okay, she has earned so much money already. Okay, so this will show you like very like Kahoot, it shows you who is in first, second, and third place. So this is one example of a review game that you can use. Okay, so the cafe, many ETAs or LETs use this in the classroom because the cafe, the game is quite easy for the elementary school students to play. So you can also use this as a resource, okay? And you as a teacher, you can review the reports, okay? And you can always check to see what were some of the correct and incorrects and the leaderboard. And you can always go in and check to see what were some of the questions answered correctly or incorrectly. Also as a way for you to assess your students, okay? And so this is a very good resource, okay? Again, if you want, you can upgrade to Plus and have more access to some of the other games or some of those functions. But so far, again, the free version is quite useful or quite adequate enough. So this is another resource that I want you to keep in mind when you're coming up with review games. Okay, next, the last resource I want to share with you today, okay, is Educandy. Okay, so I'll post a link here. So okay, so this is also a resource that you can use to design different review games. Okay, but this is a little bit different, okay, from all of the other websites that we have looked at today, because, okay, this asks you to download an app, okay, that you would use to create, okay, the interactive activities. So you will need to download Educandy Studio for you to design the different activities. And the students will need to use this app, Educandy, to play the activities you have come up with. But again, this is, you can use this to allow the students to use iPads in the classroom. Okay, so some of the activities you can create are, for example, word search, crosswords, spell, matchup, multiple choice, memory, etc. Okay, so I'm just going to show you some examples, okay? So for example, for the word search, you can also use this as a review game for the students after you have taught the different vocabulary words, okay, during a lesson or after 1 or 2 units, okay? So the student, there is a timer, so they can do individual work, or you can have them work in pairs or in groups if you want, okay? So they would need to find all these words here, and you would just need to have them use the iPad to find the words, and then they can see who is the winner. Okay, so this is also a very good resource for you to come up with review games. Okay, so the free version allows you to design 3 different types of games. If you want to be able to have access to all of these 8 games, you would unfortunately need to purchase an account. But again, the free version I think is quite useful already. So usually when I recommend the different resources, I don't want the teachers to pay a lot of times because we have limited resources and funding. So why I say that you can use a free version, because I think usually that is quite enough. If you mix and match all of the different resources from today, I think you would be able to come up with quite a lot of review games for your students already. Of course, Kahoot is still a very good resource to use, okay, when you are designing review games. Okay, so there's about 5 minutes left from today's class, so I'm going to leave it up to the Q&A. These would be the resources that I'm sharing today. And as I said, unfortunately, because of the time limitation, I can't show you everything, okay, because there's quite a lot. Just for the 4 skills, there's a lot of resources. So today I'm just choosing some of the resources that I think are easier to use and I think are quite beneficial for the teachers to implement in the classroom. Okay, so for the remaining time, how about we do Q&A? So I'm going to start with Jennifer's question. So regarding convincing LET, okay, so Jennifer, can you tell us a little bit, like in the previous experience, what were some of their responses, okay, or reasons why they would not be prone to using any of these resources in the classroom? Oh, okay. So is it because they say they need to focus on teaching only on the textbook? Okay. So that's a lot of the issues with some of the teachers or ETs I've talked to is they want to keep it limited to the textbook vocabulary. So for many of the resources, you can actually incorporate the textbook vocabulary. So for example, like Educandy for the word search, crosswords, you can incorporate the vocabulary that is being taught. And regarding if it's too complicated for the kids, from some of the classroom observations I've looked at for those ETAs or LETs that do use the iPad, they're usually quite surprised that the students don't have a lot of issues with using the iPads because as we know, they use a lot of the iPads at home already. I just think that sometimes regarding the LETs, maybe they're just afraid that they can't keep the time limitation to what is being taught. Okay, she says it takes too long to explain the process. Well, at the very beginning, of course, but I think you need to discuss with the LT, like maybe allow your LT to give you the free reign on this part. Like maybe you can try out some of these resources and say maybe give you the freedom to trial some of these resources or iPads with your students, because everything takes time to explain the process at the very beginning. Okay, when we're teaching classroom language in the classroom for first graders, okay, it takes time to also explain the classroom rules, the classroom language. So everything takes time, but I think we need to allow the students to use these technology resources or be able to practice using technology, because we are all in an environment where they will be using this in the future as well. So I would advise you to talk with your LET. I mean, all of you have experience teaching in the classroom already. So I think they should be able to allow you to have the freedom to incorporate these resources. And it's not straying far from or straying from the textbook. You are teaching still the textbook content. It's just using different methods of reviewing or introducing the content to your students. So I think most of the teachers, maybe they're just uncomfortable because they're not familiar with the technology. But I think once they understand or know that the students don't really have a lot of difficulty, or once they start using it, they will catch up and be able to use it. Like Kahoot, I think by third grade, fourth grade, students are able to use that, okay, in the classroom with no trouble at all. It's just at the beginning, everything takes time, okay? And okay. Yes, I do agree with Florence, is that you have to mention that many teachers, not just the US, everywhere, they are very successful implementing this in the classroom. And technology, okay, especially using AI, using these in the classroom. This is something that in Taiwan, the Ministry of Education is also pushing. So I think you should let your LETs know, or let your school know that this is something that is very important to use in your teaching as well as for your students. I think it's just a matter of communication, okay? Just letting your LET. I know that for a lot of teachers, of being afraid, being unfamiliar with these resources are some of the main reasons why they don't choose to do so or use it in the classroom. Yeah, okay. Any questions, other questions? Yes, there's still a lot of sites available, especially for teaching the four skills. And as I said, when I'm teaching educational technology, it's for one academic year, and I do have to allow students to practice, my students to practice. I don't have a full list, but if you're interested, you can email me, like, what are you interested regarding maybe speaking, listening, reading, writing, and I can give you some recommendations about what are some of the other resources you can look at as well. Yeah. And as I said, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time. If I really wanted to show you all of the resources and give you a lot of time to practice using those, we would be here for a long, long time. So, but feel free to email me. Let me just show you my email again. Okay, so feel free to email me with, like, if you have any questions or if you are interested in some of the resources relating to maybe speaking, reading, writing, etc. Okay, and I can give you some recommendations. And due to the time today, if you have any questions, also feel free to email me and I will try my best to answer you as soon as possible. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. Thank you very much. Yeah, that was, as Florence said, it was fantastic list of resources and even now going into AI. So thank you very much. And that was day 3 of orientation. So that will be it. Everyone, enjoy the evening and take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Good luck for the coming school year. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Good luck with the school year. Bye, everyone.